5 for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like 9 to 9. For my top 10, top 10, 9 to 9. This one's for my top 10.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because chances are you are the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more, and you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Kamala Harris, and my take on her top 10 rules of success. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1, be kind.
I think that the people who are the strongest people are like, if they see somebody fall, they go to help pick them up. Like, that's a sign of strength. It's actually stronger to be kind than it is to be mean. And that's a winning argument every time.
Rule number 2, fight back.
There is no question that everything that we have been talking about in terms of everything from criminal justice reform to climate change to immigration, this shit is now really on the line. There is no guarantee that we are any closer than ever before, and we may actually be further behind. And when I look at my little nephew and he looks up at me, he's looking at me for inspiration, and I'm trying to find the words to tell him something that makes him feel better. And so I actually, because he loves superheroes, I started to say, well, you know how like your superheroes, like when they're facing a challenge and like the mean guys are coming at them, what do? And he said, they fight back. And I said, yeah, so we have to be like superheroes. And it's okay to have emotion. Superheroes, all good ones, have emotion. But we're gonna have to fight.
Rule number 3, understand people.
How has being the daughter of both Indian and Jamaican immigrants shaped your identity and your politics?
Well, I've always been who I am. So I think that the challenge is to maybe help other people understand what that means. But for me, it was growing up with a lot of cultural pride. It was about growing up and learning practically from the day I was born about the commonalities among people, regardless of where they were born or what languages spoke, by their grandparents or how their last names are spelled. I learned really from the moment of birth how much people have in common. And that guides me through today, especially when we now have such powerful forces in our country that are trying to sow hate and division among us and have people point fingers at each other. It is actually not only, I think, immoral and wrong, it's actually it's ignorant, because it overlooks the fact that when you really understand people, you know that most of our urges, most of our desires for ourselves and our families are universal in nature.
Rule number 4, serve others.
My mother taught me that service to others gives life purpose and meaning. And oh, how I wish she were here tonight, but I know she's looking down on me from above. I keep thinking about that 25-year-old Indian woman, all of 5 feet tall, who gave birth to me at Kaiser Hospital in Oakland, California. On that day, she probably could have never imagined that I would be standing before you now and speaking these words. I do so committed to the values she taught me, to the word that teaches me to walk by faith and not by sight, and to a vision passed on through generations of Americans, one that Joe Biden shares, a vision of our nation as a beloved community where all are welcome, no matter what we look like, no matter where we come from or who we love. A country where we may not agree on every detail, but we are united by the fundamental belief that every human being is of infinite worth, deserving of compassion, dignity, and respect. A country where we look out for one another, where we rise and fall as one, where we face our challenges and celebrate our triumphs together.
Also, if you want to build more confidence, the science says it can take up to 254 days of consecutive action to successfully build a habit. So I've created a free program for you where every day for 254 days, I will send you an unlisted video to your email, absolutely free, to help you build your confidence. The link to join is in the description below.
Who am I? No, really, who am I? What do I care about? And the answers to those questions have resulted in the woman who stands before you today.
I think about that a lot. People say, does it bother you when people underestimate you? And I say, I welcome people to underestimate me.
When you pull it off, it's great. Same thing in real estate. You go against the tide. People are selling, you're buying, the tide changes.
Rule number 5, build connections.
There's so much about campaigning that really is about human interaction and connection in a very physical way. And I mean, that includes, you know, one of the things that I've always loved is fathers and mothers will bring their daughters to events. And afterward, you know, after you speak or whatever, they'll come up and there's a picture, a drawing that the child made, that the daughter made, or the son, and they will show you. And then, you know, you can, you know, kneel down and talk and take the picture and have an interaction. And there's nothing like that. There's nothing like, you know, people coming up to you and hugging you and you know what that means. Hugs can be very powerful. And so you have to find other ways of connecting, because in campaigning, it's so much more than just an exchange of words, right? It really is about a connection that is based on looking someone in the eye, but also just that in-person interaction. So, you know, we're all trying to make it work via Zoom now mostly, or social distancing and wearing masks. And it's, you know, you can't see a smile, but you can see smiling eyes. So we're finding different ways to feel and see each other. It's actually, I think it'll be interesting to see where this all ends up for all of us, regardless of whether we're campaigning or not. But it is very different.
Rule number 6, chart your own course.
My mother instilled in my sister Maya and me the values that would chart the course of our lives. She raised us to be proud, strong Black women, and she raised us to know and be proud of our Indian heritage. She taught us to put family first, the family you're born into and the family you choose. Family is my husband, Doug, who I met on a blind date set up by my best friend. Family is our beautiful children, Cole and Ella, who call me Kamala. Family is my sister. Family is my best friend, my nieces, and my godchildren. Family is my uncles, my aunts, and my chitties. Family is Mrs. Shelton, my second mother, who lived 2 doors down and helped raise me. Family is my beloved Alpha Kappa Alpha, our Divine Nine, and my HBCU brothers and sisters. Family is the friends I turn to when my mother, the most important person in my life, passed away from cancer. And even as she taught us to keep our family at the center of our world, she also pushed us to see a world beyond ourselves. She taught us to be conscious and compassionate about the struggles of all people, to believe public service is a noble cause, and the fight for justice is a shared responsibility.
Rule number 7, speak the truth.
A lot of the work I've done has been inspired by people I've met. And probably the first person who inspired me to do everything I do is my mother, who I talk a lot about in the book. And it was an attempt to write about the policy priorities through the lens of personal experiences, but also, especially at this moment in time, to talk about the fact that we also have so much more in common than what separates us as a people. And especially after November of 2016, I think it's really important when there are so many powerful voices that are trying to sow hate and division among us, to hold on to the fact that the vast majority of us have so much more in common than what separates us. And so I wrote the book with the hope that we could speak truths that are shared truths, some of them uncomfortable truths to hear or discuss, but must be discussed if we're going to build toward a place where we gain and grow trust
Because there's so many people right now who rightly and understandably are distrustful of their government and its institutions and leaders. And one of the most important ingredients in a relationship of trust, and by the way, the nature of a relationship of trust, as we all know in our personal and professional lives, is it's a reciprocal relationship. You give and you receive trust. And one of the most important ingredients in a trusting relationship is that we speak truth.
Rule number 8, laugh more.
One of the things I think that really allows us to get through these moments that are, obviously very stressful. We're talking about the future of the free world. But it's important to be able to laugh at yourself and each other, and we do a healthy amount of both of that. And I think that really is part of the key to it all is, these are serious times, and the challenges are incredibly serious, but we don't take ourselves too seriously in the context of our relationship. You can't. And you just have to flow and also just know what's really important.
Rule number 9, do better.
Here's the thing. None of us are free until all of us are free. So we're at an inflection point. The constant chaos leaves us adrift. The incompetence makes us feel afraid. The callousness makes us feel alone. It's a lot. And here's the thing. We can do better and deserve so much more.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is tell great stories.
Tell us about a time you were starstruck.
Oh, goodness. I've been starstruck a number of times. Well, when I was a tour guide at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, I have had many jobs in my life. One of them was to be a tour guide at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing in D.C., and Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee walked in, and oh my God, I could barely speak, and they took an interest in me. I was just this kid, college student working. They were really wonderful. And then most recently, I actually met Mark Hamill, and being a Star Wars fan, I became a little giddy when I met him. It was behind the scene I was on the Colbert Show. Yeah, that was neat. He said that maybe the Force could be with me. He did. I was really thrilled.
Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video? And what is your plan of action that you're going to execute this week to make some immediate momentum?